Welcome to the Lifestyle Builders Podcast, Show 12. In our last episode, we talked about passion versus practical in choosing a business. In today's episode, we're starting our Q&A series. Welcome to the Lifestyle Builders Podcast, where we bring you real-life strategies on starting and growing a business and finding financial freedom without sacrificing the life you have with your loved ones. We are your hosts, Tom and Ariana Sylvester, and we are married, we're parents, and we're serial entrepreneurs. This podcast is for those who want more out of life. We'll show you how to take the vision you have and create the business that will help you achieve it. Join us as we share practical steps, real-life stories, and help you become a lifestyle builder.
All right, I am so pumped for introducing this to our show, and this is going to be our Q&A.
Yep.
So up until this point, you've heard Ariana and I talk about a variety of topics. And, you know, when we had our Serial Startups podcast, it was all about just us kind of discussing these topics. But, you know, we felt like something was missing.
Yep.
And so when we were designing this show, we talked to a lot of people and we looked at kind of what we liked and what other people were liking out there. And we decided that we were going to have obviously still episodes with the two of us, but we wanted to introduce some other stuff for you guys. Yeah. And this is going to be the first, which is we're going to do a Q&A show. Yep. And basically what this is, you guys have questions, submit them, and we'll answer them on the podcast live for you guys.
Yep. So we're going to be doing Q&A shows once a month, and we'll take all of the Q&As that we get. Obviously, we can't answer them all in one show, but we'll queue up, 3 or 4 questions per show, and we'll dive into your business, your question, and we'll answer that for you on the show, as well as give you a little shout out.
There we go.
Why not?
So if people want to submit a question, where can they go for that?
They can go to tomandariana.com/question. And we've actually got 2 different ways for you to submit a question. There's a voice message option, so you can actually speak your question to us, and we can use the recording right on the show. Or there is a text version, and you could submit it via a survey right on the website.
And so if you guys don't have a preference, I would say go for the voice, because it's always good to hear you guys, and it's good for other people to hear, your question and kind of get a little bit of that out there. So speak by option is really good.
Yep. All right. So let's dive in. Our first question is from one of our group members in the Family Entrepreneur Life community, Kramon Comeaux. And I hope that I pronounced that correctly.
I'm glad you said that, because I totally would have butchered that name.
So a little bit of background. Kramon's company is called Prospr, and their website is prosprplanner.com, and that's spelled Prospr. They offer journals and productivity planners for family-focused entrepreneurs. And his question is, what would your advice be when just starting out? What should be our number one focus? Brand building, marketing, sales, etc. My wife and I started our business last year in September. The thing we struggle with is what to focus on at any given time. Is it setting up systems, emails, social media, sales, etc.? With a limited budget, family obligations, and only 24 hours in a day, it is only so much we can do. And all right, let's dive into that question.
I was going to say, and I swear we didn't plant this, but this is like the perfect question. Yeah. I'm all about the productivity, all about the focus. We got family entrepreneur focused here. Perfect question.
Yeah, it's the first question of the series. How more fitting could it be?
All right, so love this question. Thank you for submitting it. And I'll start off the way that I always start off when we're trying to make a decision, and that is getting clear on what are your goals. Right. So I believe you already have the Prospr Planner out there. How does this tie into your business goals? And then ultimately, how does it tie into your life goals? So if we take a look at the website, just popped in quick. By the way, I like the website. Looks good. I think it does a good job of explaining what the planner is and who it's for. Got some nice social proof. But I'd be asking, where are you guys at now with the planner? If you haven't made any sales yet, then the focus has got to be, let's get the initial sales out there and lay that foundation. If you've made some sales and you're looking to make more, that's going to be a little different. And also seeing, how does this fit into your overall business? Is this the only product you have, and how many do you want to sell? Or is this one product, but then you're going to, once people use this product, sell them another product? So I don't know the answers to a lot of this, but what I'd be looking at is, how does it tie into your business, and then what are your goals? And that'll be the starting point to then guide you to say, okay, where do you focus and where do you prioritize things?
Yep. And I think one of the areas that I always come back to is one of the initial mistakes that a lot of small business owners make, us included, was that we didn't get to know our customers well.
Yeah.
And when you're starting out with something like this, you already know who your market is because you're going for family-focused entrepreneurs. So do you know what their biggest pain points are? And if so, how is your planner attacking those pain points? How is it solving it for them? So if you can address that on your site, on all of your social media, and all of your marketing, that right there is already going to have your customers relate better to your product.
Yeah, one of the things, especially with this, that I really like is, planners are big. I mean, we see planners everywhere, and I like planners, and I like the fact that it helps people organize their thoughts. Everyone's got kind of a different way of working through things, so one planner might work better than the other. Before I jumped on the website, the thought that jumped into my head was, go and find influencers or people that have communities and followers and basically give them a free copy of the planner, have them use it, and see if you can build a partnership there. Now, when I jumped on the website, what I like seeing is that you actually have a section. It doesn't really stand out, but it says, are you an influencer? Blah, blah, blah. Let's collaborate. So if an influencer lands on your site, maybe they'll collaborate. If you're not doing this now, what I would do, I would make a list of the top 50 or top 100 influencers and send them a copy, right? Send them a journal, send them maybe a customized video to say, hey, love your audience, found you through here, or I've been following you for a while. We created this planner, blah, blah, blah. Give your little pitch and then say, love for you to try it out. And then would love to reach out and connect and see how we can work together on this and helping your audience with it.
Yeah.
We've seen some other people go through that process. And I think that's probably the quickest and easiest and cheapest way to potentially get this out to the masses.
Yeah, and I think pulling out what makes it different from the other planners and the other journals out there, because as Tom said, it's very popular right now to have some of these goal planning journals or the life planners that everyone is out there buying, and they all look slightly different. Some of them look the same. What makes your planner different? And I know from looking at the website that one of those things is the family piece of it. So having like the family, the date night on there, the movie nights, the goals that you have to do things with your family. So if you can really have people associate and see that part of it, like, hey, this is what makes us different from all the other planners out there on the market, is that we include the family piece in it, and we encourage families to do their planning together. Then you've got your unfair advantage. You've got that piece that makes you different, and that is going to make more people say, hey, I tried all these other planners and they didn't work. This one could really work for me, because it's not only getting all the life and the business plans in there, but it's also giving me the aspect of I can plan this with my family.
Yeah. And, as you said that, so I was looking through the website, I don't see anything about what's different. So that's a really good point, because there are a lot of planners out there. And if you can really focus in on why this is different and who specifically it's for and not for, I think you'll draw people in more.
Yep.
And even going back to the influencer thing, I mean, as I'm looking through this more, send us a copy, right?
Yeah.
We literally have a family entrepreneur community, and that's the people we work with. We have our Plan with Purpose course that we guide people through on how to do the vision. I see in here that part of the planners, you actually have this like pull out vision board. So a lot of the stuff that you guys have in here is actually very aligned with what we do. Send us a copy. I'd love to take a look at it. And, people are always coming to us asking for tools and products. So who knows, maybe it'd be a good fit. Another thing too is I think if you guys aren't using like free media, that's a big opportunity for you. So we're big fan. Obviously, we have a podcast. We're guests on a lot of other podcasts. But if you reach out to podcast hosts, maybe send them a copy, or even just jump on as an interview and talk about like how people can do this, right? Like what some of the common challenges are and how you guys solve that problem with this product. That's a great way to be able to get out in front of like hundreds or thousands of people without a lot of time, effort, and investment.
Yep. Yeah, and as always, get testimonials from your happy clients. So people that have already used your planner and love it, getting testimonials from them in the form of video testimonials as well as written out testimonials. You can use that in different places for the social proof. When you talk to new people, having that already there, like, hey, these people are all using the planner and they're loving it. having those influencers that you've sent a copy and they've sent you back, a testimonial, or they've decided to use that or promote it out to their audience, then you've got all of that kind of social proof working for you to go out and say to your new potential customers, hey, here's what everyone else is loving about this planner. You should try it too.
Well, I was going to say, so as you say that, I see you guys have a testimonials page, but when you go on there, it's very boring text and just like a person's like first name. So if someone goes on there, that's not really going to sell them the way, to your point, a video would.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know for me, some of the most effective videos that I've seen are when people maybe have like 4 or 5 testimonials and they're shifting back and forth between clips.
Yep.
Right. So they're having people say, hey, picked up the planner. Hey, I love the Prospr Planner. Hey, and they're kind of bouncing back and forth. That, and, actually on the homepage, I didn't watch the video, but maybe that's what you got right here. Right. So I think a lot of good ideas. And like I said, I really like what you guys have going here. And I think the key is going to be just to get it out in front of enough people. And as Ariana said, show why it's different.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to send us a copy, let us know. We'll give you our address, and we'll take a look and see if it's something that maybe we can share out.
Yeah, and we love to test new stuff like that with our kids as well. Our daughter is gung-ho for trying anything new. So if it's something that she gets to do with the family as a whole, she is all for it.
Well, I was going to say, and she's all about, like,
stickers.
Stickers.
Yep.
We got stickers in here. She's all about that. She's been actually making kind of her own scoreboards and stuff. So, yeah, that'd be good.
All right, so question number 2 is from Christi Bender. And Christi, you can find her at christibendercpa.com. She's also one of our lifestyle builders, and she's got an interesting situation. So I'm going to read Christi's question. So life is insane during tax season, and I know that I need to be working on my business and not just in it. But with very limited hours, exactly how do I decide where to put that effort? I have a million thoughts and no time. But in 6 weeks, the schedule opens up. What could I do now that would lay a little bit of groundwork for then? And what I want to point out here is that obviously Christi has a very unique situation in that she's a CPA. So she's working crazy hours the first, 2 or 3 months of the year. And then everything kind of goes back to normal and she's working less than that the rest of the year. Yep. So for most of us, that situation isn't exactly the same, but Christi's question still applies across everyone's business because you need to know what you should be working on your business and not just in it. So even though, obviously her time situation is different, this is still going to be relevant for a lot of you.
Well, I mean, but if people sell products, you got the holidays that are busier, right? So most businesses tend to have like,
busy time,
peaks and valleys in that. One of the things I love here, it goes back to the quadrant that we always talk about for prioritization, and it's what's urgent and what's important. And, right now there's a lot of urgent stuff that is important, which is doing these tax returns and taking care of these customers. So first thing I would say here is that next 6 weeks, you're not really focused on your business, right? You're just focused on getting the things done that you need to get done to get through this busy time for tax season. Mm-hmm. So it's okay to not always be shifting on your business. There are going to be some things that are urgent and important, and maybe you got to get sucked in a little bit more. The key thing is you don't want to always be stuck there.
Yep.
And you've got a light at the end of the tunnel 6 weeks from now to where we can then shift and talk about what do we got to do differently.
Actually,
from that.
At the time of recording, it'll probably be less than 6 weeks from now.
I was going to say, yeah, she'll be getting ready to pop the champagne.
Yeah. So my thoughts on this is I know we have similar personality types, and having all those million ideas shuffle through your brain just because it's your busy tax season time doesn't mean that those thoughts just go away. And one of the things is I know you're probably worried about like forgetting all these great ideas that you're having, or you want to make sure that you're implementing on this stuff as soon as you have the time to do it. So my suggestion would be to record all of the stuff that's going through your brain, to log it all, whether that's journaling, whether that's recording yourself while you're working and you just talk through all the stuff that's going on in your head. Get it all down so that 6 weeks from now, or whatever the weeks are at the time that this publishes, you've got all of that stuff that was running through your brain during tax season, and you've been able to put it all down somewhere so that you can now sift through it. And you can choose all right, here's all these thoughts that I had. Some of these are not relevant for right now. I'm going to put them away for later. Some of them I think I should implement on. So how do I want to take action on these? How does it affect my business? How can I, do what needs to be done in order to work more on the business instead of in it? What things can I improve upon from this year's tax season for next year's tax season? So walking through what went well, what didn't go well, what's all the crap that drove me nuts that I want to get rid of for next year? Can I implement a different onboarding sequence? Can I hire somebody else to deal with this next year? How can you do less of the things that are stressing you out and more of the things that, you should be working on?
Yeah, that's spot on. So a lot of people, when they go through like these busy times, by the time they get done with it, they're so burnt out that they kind of forget and they just move on. They're like, all right, I was so busy. Now I want to take time back. And then they never make those improvements. They never take the time to reflect. Mm-hmm. And then they repeat it the next year. And it just is this ebb and flow that goes on. Mm-hmm. So, I love your comment about writing all those ideas down and even just reflecting, each day or each week on what are those things you're thinking, because you might forget some of those when you get out of tax season. Yeah. But when you go back then and say, all right, even sitting down with your team or sitting down with somebody else outside and saying, we're going to reflect on this. Like, here's what went well. Here's what didn't go well. We hit these goals. This thing stressed me out. And then from there you say, what do I want next year to look like at this time? Right. And so then you've got basically a year, or you've got maybe, 3 quarters to get things in place so that you do have that next year. Yeah. But yeah, for right now, it's just, I think, heads down, get it done, take care of yourself. As you do these long days, like, I know you've food prepped ahead of time, but, make sure you're eating healthy. As much as you can, make sure you're sleeping and getting that good night's sleep. Health, even if it's just a little bit of meditation, if it's a little bit of working out, whatever it works for you, just make sure that you don't get completely burned out during these busy times.
Well, and I mean, looking at this, we have a unique situation here in that we've known Christi, so we know where she was last year's tax season. And I've already seen a huge improvement into this year's tax season with her mindset and her mentality around everything. Like, she's already, just after 1 year of implementing some small changes and doing some things differently, she's already been able to improve a lot of those things that were causing her struggles and issues last year.
Absolutely.
Into this year. So it's, if you can keep that up, if you can keep working on what are all these little things that are getting me caught up every tax season, and how can I shift what I'm doing or shift that responsibility onto someone else so that I'm not having to deal with that every tax season, is already improving. So if you can just continue improving on that, in the next year or two, you're going to be in a great position during tax time.
Yeah, so at that point, she shifted and made some changes around some of her clients, how she works with them, how she onboards them.
Yep.
In terms of hiring team members that fit with, her alignment and her values in the organization, making standard operating procedures and getting those processes and getting things that used to kind of always fall on her plate off to them. So yeah, a lot of improvements over 1 year. And to your point, it's just continuously making those improvements just makes it better and better over time.
Yeah. All right.
I was going to say, and on a side note too, if anyone is looking for advice, like, Christi is just full of knowledge.
Yeah, we've already determined we're going to have her on the show for one of our guest expert chats. Yeah. But obviously we're waiting for tax season to die down a little bit.
Yeah, we're not adding one more thing on Christi's plate. But what do you call her? Not your average.
Not your average CPA.
Yeah, and she really isn't. And I think that's one of the reasons that we gel so well with Christi, is that she's really smart at what she does, but she's got a sense of humor, unlike, what you would traditionally think with, like, an accountant. Most people don't get excited about doing their books, but somehow Christi makes it fun.
Most people also don't have an F-bomb on their desk.
Yes,
but hey,
absolutely.
To each their own.
Gotta love a CPA that has an F-bomb on their desk.
All right, let's jump over to our last question for today's episode, and that is from Rachel Frederick. She's over at thewellbalancedwriter.com, and Rachel's question is, I'm impatient to launch my first course, but my email list is tiny. Is it better to wait until I have X hundred number of people on a list, or can I go for it and still be profitable without spending thousands on Facebook ads? I've gotten really good feedback from the few in my niche that have seen my course, so I think it will sell if I can get it in front of the right number of people.
Oh,
Thank you for that question, Rachel. It's a great question.
Love this question, and I know this is one that just about everybody goes through, right?
Mhm.
So you're early on. I don't know if you're early on necessarily in your business, but either you're early on in your business or you got a new idea for a product and it's like, well, when do I launch it? How do
Yep.
I create it? How many people do I have to have on my email list? All these questions come up. And unfortunately, most people go through it backwards. And by most people, I include us as
Yep.
well.
Yep. Totally. Been there, done that.
So what happens a lot of times is we get this great idea and we want to go and launch it. And before we launch it, we actually build the entire thing. So we automatically
If you build it, they will come.
Yeah, that doesn't happen. But what we automatically assume is that our idea is perfect, and if we build it, they'll come. Not the case. So we actually did a show that will dive a little bit deeper into this. I believe it was show 5.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get more at tomandariana.com/5. But what we recommend people go through is this idea validation process. And the tool we use with that is called a lean canvas. And what that does is you can basically take your idea, put it onto this like 1-page plan. And then once you have the idea out there, what you're going to start doing is talking to potential clients in your niche,
whatever.
I was gonna say depends on what part of the world we're talking about.
Struggles is real.
But so what we like to do is we focus on quality over quantity. So a lot of people will say, well, you need thousands of people on your list or whatever else. What you really need at the end of the day is a handful of people that are going to buy. So one way to do that is to build a giant audience and then hope the numbers work out and you get a percentage.
Well, yeah, because usually you can assume a certain percentage will buy. So the larger your list is, the larger percentages that's going to buy.
Yeah, but it takes a long time to build a list.
Does.
There's a lot of other stuff you got to do. What we would rather do is focus on quality. So it sounds like you already have an audience, you already have an email list, even if it's smaller. I would reach out and as we do this, and we did this for lifestyle builders, I would reach out and say, okay, who are the top 50 people or the top 20 people that I think this course would be perfect for, and get them on the phone, right? Like talk to them, say, hey, I'm thinking about building a course around this thing, but before I do it and spend a whole bunch of time and energy, I just want to talk to people to see if this would even be something that's valuable and to really understand what you would want to see in a course like this.
Yep.
And by doing a lot of that research, a couple things are going to happen. Some of your idea is going to be terrible and you're going to have to drop it. You're going to get new ideas that you didn't even think of. So your idea is going to morph as you go through. But more importantly, you're going to be talking to your potential future customers and you're going to be warming them up. And if you do this right, those people are going to be the first set of people that end up buying from you. So that's the basic process that we walk through. Like I said, that podcast talks a little bit more about it, but that's what I would recommend in this scenario.
Well, and also I know that the question comes up a lot too with people in launching something, and everyone kind of you get the idea from all of the big names out there that are doing launches and they have the perfect branding and the perfect marketing and everything looks amazing and they make $50,000 on their launch. So it gives you the idea that, oh, I can't launch anything until it's perfect and I have a big audience. False. Completely false. In this case, done is always better than perfect.
Absolutely.
Because what you want to do, okay, so maybe you've already created the course. You're going to launch it. You've got whatever your audience size is now, whatever your email list size is now. Maybe it's small, but that's okay. That doesn't mean you can't launch the course anyways. Now, what that's going to give you is if you launch the course and nobody buys it, now you go back and say, okay, did I target the right people? Did I explain what it was and what results it could get them? And what other things were in there that could have potentially gone wrong when I launched the course and nobody bought it? Then you can do as Tom said. You start getting those people on the phone and you start talking to them. You start asking questions around what are your struggles? What are the things that you are not happy with in your business or your life or whatever it is? And you dig deeper and deeper and deeper to find those pain points. And then you look at your course and say, is my course the solution to these pain points that everyone's telling me about? If it is, then there's just some disconnect in there. There's something that you're not showing them how your course can solve their problems, or something in the messaging. I don't know. Maybe it's not even targeted to the right people. If it's not, then you can start to shift your course into something that's actually solving those pain points. So then you can reach out to those people and say, hey, I know I launched this course back in such and such a date, but after talking to a ton of people, I've now realized that these are the problems everyone's having. So this is what my course solves. It helps you get from X to Y, and here's how. So then you've now warmed those people up by, as Tom said, talking to them and just asking them about what struggles they're having. And you've shown them that you're willing to go out and help them by changing the course that you built to be able to be relevant for them. So it gives you this ability to, okay, I did it, I launched the course, and then you've got A or B. A, people are buying it, so you obviously have validated that that course is useful. Now you just need to find more of those people and get your course in front of more of those people. Or B, it's not getting purchased. Nobody's buying it. So what are the things that you need to shift, whether it's target audience, messaging, or what solutions your course solves, and do that. And then you can go and do a bigger launch that time and know that you're going to be in front of the right people and you're selling them the right thing. Now, if it's A and you've got people buying it, there are some ways to get in front of the right audiences. So if your email list is small and your audience is small, as Tom talked about in question number 1, there are a lot of ways to get free media. So that can be publishing guest blog posts on other people's blogs. That can be getting on podcasts and talking about, your story, but then also your business and what solutions it solves. It can be getting on other people's live shows on Facebook and getting in front of their audiences. Definitely. It can even just be as simple as being in some free Facebook groups and answering questions and giving value. Those people then decide to follow you and say, hey, this person has a course that I could take to help me with this thing that I'm struggling with. So it's just all about finding those different ways to get out there and get in front of more people so that then you're growing your audience and your email list as well as selling your course.
Yeah. And, you talked about like these free and low cost methods. And, part of the question was, should I spend money on ads? And, I don't want to go spend thousands on Facebook ads. And I'll tell you, one of the things that really bothers me is that when people go and spend thousands on marketing and think they're going to do a big launch early on to end up not making many sales, you lose money, you lose time, and then a lot of people get very frustrated and demoralized. To be honest, we've worked with and seen people that have done this, right?
We've done it ourselves.
We've done it ourselves.
We're our first.
I was gonna say not to that extent. But we had over $1,000 invested. But there's been people that we've worked with and we've seen that have spent thousands to go and do Facebook ads in this giant campaign and all of this.
And all the branding and logos and the website and everything.
To end up with 0 sales.
Yep.
And so marketing, paid traffic, all of that comes in at some point, but it comes in after you've validated it. And this is the whole reason that we really like that lean canvas because, part of it is essentially your idea is a set of assumptions. And what you want to do is start validating those assumptions. Are these the people that I'm targeting? Are they the right group? Do I have the right avatar? Do I really understand their pain points? Do I have the right solution? Are they willing to pay what I'm offering this at? Right? So as you're doing this, you're going to actually test and validate each of those assumptions. And then one thing that a lot of people say when we recommend this approach is they're like, well, how am I going to sell people something if I don't have anything yet? Whether or not you actually have the thing you're selling is irrelevant at this point. Now, it's not to say you're going to hide that fact from people, but what you want to sell people on is the end result or the transformation or what they're going to get by using this product or going through that course. And a lot of people say, well, how do I sell it if I don't have it? Well, my question is, how are you going to sell it when you do have it, right? Because you're going to do the same thing.
Yep.
Where you find people is going to be exactly the same. The difference is going to be that you're going to create this or you're going to finish it, after people have paid you and paid or validated with their wallet, not just telling you, oh, that's a good idea, I might buy it. So that's a big thing too, is realizing that you might have, a couple different iterations of this, and you really want to keep it low cost and test those different things until you get it working. Once you have people organically buying from you, then you can use marketing, paid traffic, all of that to help scale up.
Yeah.
But a lot of people early on jump to paid traffic too soon and end up spending a lot of time and money.
Yeah, because paid traffic doesn't work if you don't know who you're targeting.
Yeah.
And you don't have things that are converting. You don't have a lead magnet or an opt-in that people are converting as a free item, let alone then to bump them up to the paid item.
Well, I was going to say, and some of this stuff sounds crazy, but it happens. We've seen people that have launched these giant campaigns and they actually don't have a buy button on their landing page. So they send a bunch of traffic. Everything else was good, but they didn't actually test it through to make sure people could actually buy. You know, I mean, there's been times where like a website will go down because it wasn't used to having that much traffic. There's all these problems that you could have. And I know it's not like super sexy, but going slow and steady. And first thing you want to focus, can I get the first sale? Once you get 5 or once you get 1, you say, can I get 5? Can I get 10? Can I get 20? And then you build it from there. So it sounds great to be able to do this giant launch, but start first with the first sale and go from there.
Yeah. All right. So that is it for our 3 questions on today's Q&A episode. If you're listening and you'd like to submit a question for us to answer live, go to tomandariana.com/question. Or you can also find it at the show notes page, tomandariana.com/12. All right, you guys, it's been another great episode with Tom and Ariana, your hosts and lifestyle builders.
And as always, remember, it's your life, your business, your way. We'll see you next time.
Bye. Are you frustrated by a lack of momentum in your business? Do you want real-time guidance and support from seasoned entrepreneurs who really care about your results? If you're nodding your head or awkwardly shouting yes in public somewhere, then we invite you to join Lifestyle Builders, a mentorship program designed to meet you where you are and give you strategic and custom guidance so you can build the business you need for the life you crave. You can find out more at joinlifestylebuilders.com.
Your life, your business, your way. Join Family Entrepreneur Life. Join Family Entrepreneur